We're gonna let that feed build and folks come in here. Come on in. I figured it out, Mike. You should see that tag coming up in just a minute. Yep, we're gonna have a tag to go for your pages.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
That's it.
So I need to share it?
Yep, share it. Add the page or share it. Whatever pop up where you're from.
Okay, so do I add share it to the news feed on the news feed timeline, NAACP State Conference President? Huh?
That's it.
Either I'm gonna do both of them. Let's do.
Yeah, both of them.
Okay, let's do the news feed first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. It is in. Yeah. All right, let's get rolling here. All right, we want to welcome y'all to the NAACP Presidents, where each and every week we bring you some news that you can use. This is your local branch president, Eugene Collins, and I'm here alongside our statewide branch president, President Michael McClanahan is in the building. Now, some of y'all we know might be watching the Super Bowl, but we gonna be here no matter what, because like President McClanahan always says, you can never sleep, right? You can never sleep, man. You're gonna get. I'm gonna get it wrong, but you're gonna get it right. You know, the wicked is so busy that we can't go to sleep or something like that. So
he will never take a break, Gene.
He will never take a break. I knew it was one of them. But President McClanahan, we know we got some live updates here. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into you so you can get it started off here.
Eugene, I want to thank you again, man, for being on point, for being beautiful, but more importantly, for being obedient to the word. Because the more you know, the more you know. And I want you to know, man, the devil never takes a break. Never. Evil never goes away. Hatred and bigotry is always at the forefront. Somebody's always to be discriminated against. And it's our duty, and it's our task to make sure that we shine a light in those dark places in somebody's life, so that they can understand when the devil sees us, he will not understand. When we fight, we win. Eugene, I'm telling you, I am so excited as always. It don't take much to get me excited. I think the Lord had me on his wake-up list first and foremost, and that he gave me a reasonable portion of health and strength, and that my chain was not broken. I know some people can't say that, Eugene, but we have to continue to trust and believe in the Lord. And so with that, man, he had trusted in me and you and others just like us to become freedom fighters, and fighting for the people, fighting for his people, fighting to free the people out of bondage, whatever bondage is to them. And so, Eugene, as always, February is Black History Month. Black History Month. And somebody say, man, look, why we celebrate Black History Month? We celebrate those of us that are Black, celebrated 365, but those that need to have a starting point. This is a starting point for some people, Gene. They might not recognize nothing Black, even though if you cut on your AC unit, a Black man created that. If you drive your car, the internal combustion engine, somebody invented that. If you hit your light switch, Gene, in your house, the light, somebody invented that. So even though it's an every part of our life, they need to have a starting point. And so Black History Month, February, is somebody's starting point. And so we want to embrace Black History Month, because the last I looked, January 13, 1965, I came out Black. I'm still Black.
Like that's for sure, Mike, that we still Black. And in this good Black History Month, Mike, you know, we get this all the time, but you know, somebody called me and cussed me out early this morning.
Come on.
Early this morning with a case. And I'm going to tell you, you know, sometimes folks don't realize just because you see a racial element to something doesn't mean that it has a racial element.
Right.
And, you know, we have a responsibility of protecting the brand against stuff that's not factual.
That's right.
Or even, you know, not our issue, not our mission. So we'll give that to the people that does. But earlier this morning, then she called me and talked about my weight, Mike. And you know I'm sensitive about my weight.
You're sensitive, Gene. I know you're sensitive. Because I sure try to put weight on you, man.
Yeah, I'm sensitive about it. She called me and talked about my weight, right? But, you know, and I bring that up to say, because as we enter this Black History Month, we got to remember these old campaigns that's been run by the oppressor for so long, right? And, you know, on Black History Month, for years, we just Google it. We were taught to attack our organizations, attack our leaders, because that attacks the core essence of Black History Month. And there's so many that don't want it, right? So just remember that before you jump out and do something dumb that you really don't understand. Because, you know, you could say some crazy stuff that actually hurt some work that could really go towards some good folks by doing something dumb. And that's what a lot of this stuff is. Dumb. And President McClanahan, speaking of dumb, I want to get to Oberlin. What is it? Oberlin, Louisiana? How you say that, right?
Oberlin, right there in Allen Parish.
Oberlin, Louisiana, in Allen Parish. And there's a couple issues there. And I'm going to let you jump off the first one with the cemetery situation, which was crazy. And people think the article came out, and when folks see the media, they just think the case is over.
Right.
But still no resolution to this. And I'm going to jump it off to you so you can explain it.
Eugene, you know, that's why I say evil never takes a break, never goes to sleep. Discrimination is always present. You know, not only when you're born, because if you think about providing quality health care to Black mothers so that they can have healthy Black children, that's just not there. I saw somewhere that the black mothers died in infant mortality, I guess during giving birth. I don't know if I'm saying it correct, during giving birth than any other race in the country. Black mothers die more so than giving birth. So, why is that the case, Gene? Because there are a couple of factors, and we don't need to get into them right now, but eventually we will. But even in death, this is a black man that died. He was a deputy sheriff. He led a mid processionals taking a body to its final resting place in the cemetery in Oberlin, Louisiana. The minute that he needed to have these services, he was denied because he was black. And, if you were to look at it, you would think he was Indian, and a mix, and his wife looks the same, and they have a mixed family, black kids and white kids. And she was sharing with me that when she went to talk to the persons about buying a plot for her husband, they said it was fine because her and her white daughters went in. The minute her black children came to be with the mother, the lady immediately says, "We cannot sell your plot because it's for whites only." And, their children were traumatized. The kids were traumatized at their bereavement and their grief. They could not understand why their dad, because he was a law enforcement officer in that parish, and he also was a law enforcement officer in another town. He provided all he could, gave his life of all that he could, and in their need, they could not even be there. They could not be met. Their need could not be met because some person, excuse my language, Gene, some idiot thought that it was fine to discriminate somebody even in death. So that's why we need not take a break, because even in life, birth, and even in death. And so there's no resolution because, even though they came in and said that we're going to change the policy, they still cannot sell the lady a plot. And so her husband is buried somewhere else because, we want him to put the rest. She wanted her family to start the healing process, but they still cannot because somebody else that looks just like us would go there and be denied a final resting place. So, Eugene, they called us, we went down there, and they need to know we're going to start, because no one throughout the state of Louisiana should have to suffer what that family suffered. I know that there were, even here in Baton Rouge, there are cemeteries that used to be for whites only, but they understand, in this day and time, whites and blacks die. We go to school together. Now we go to church together. We go to concerts together. We be in the hospital together. There's no colored wing at a hospital. There's no whites only wing. If someone needs my blood, they don't put on the bag that I donated blood and plasma. They don't say this come from a black man. If I needed some blood and a white man had my type, give me the blood. Give me the blood. And I'm quite sure he would want to give me that blood because I want to live, I enjoy life, right? So we need to correct that. We're sending, we got some communication going to the Louisiana Cemetery Board. And we also got some communication going to the board that makes up that cemetery, because even those persons that are dead, they're not going to come back and say, we don't want nobody beside us that don't look like us.
Yeah. Yeah, and President Clanahan, you are hitting it spot on. When you look at just in 2021, and then it's just a sad story too. I don't know if the media truly portrayed the story. Like, this guy found out he had cancer on December 14th.
Right.
And it was like he was dead in a month. So his family and kids already dealing with that.
Man.
And then they say, hey, there's this clause that this is a white only graveyard. Then there was a retired school principal that said she had the same experience 15 years ago trying to buy a plot. Just crazy stuff that you don't think still happened in 2021. But this was in Oberlin, Louisiana. And for folks that don't know what Oberlin, Louisiana is, I did not know either until I rode with President Clanahan yesterday. And not going to explain it, and most of y'all still not going to know where it's at, right? It's outside of Lafayette, 28 miles before you get to Lake Charles, that would be the north side of Frog City. So, see, y'all still don't know where it's at, but it's a little place there, and it seems to be deeply rooted with some still oppressive behavior. And most of those small cities you go to, and it's hard, right? Because people that live there sometimes are afraid to speak out against these things because of just retribution and things that might happen to them. And they still got to try to find a job in that town and stuff like that. And kids still got to go to school with your kids, and that's been an issue up there in Oberlin as well. But this is systemic change. You know, it's one thing to help one family, but it's a whole other thing to attack a system. That changes the course for many folks. And leading right into that, if you think that was bad in Oberlin, Louisiana, they didn't want to bury black folk with white folk. You ain't gonna believe this one, President McClellan. This next one, and I don't let you joke off. They had some stories up there. I'm just saying. We put in information requests just to see some of this stuff, and we know y'all denied some from some citizens already up there, so we're gonna slap a logo on it. So right. But you know, it is what it is. But President McClellan, what that next situation, and we still in Oberlin, Louisiana right now. Right, we're still in Oberlin. Eugene, before we get to the next one, you know, you just talked about how persons were making that. There is a prison, there's a slave plantation called a prison up there in Allen Parish, and they have a casino ran by the Shadow Indians up there. So they have something up there, but they have the last vestige of slavery is entailed in the penal system, prison system. So we want to dismantle that. But Eugene, you know, the school system, not only all over the state of Louisiana, I can't think of too many school systems that have not had to operate up under a consent decree. That means because the school system is segregated, the federal courts came in and said, you must integrate these systems that up with deliberate speed. And Byron, my friend, would tell me that's how you have in Baton Rouge, you have Downham and Bishop Sutherland, all those private schools. They came about because white persons did not want to send their kids to school with black students, man. And so they popped up, but now they're trying to come back into the system. So what they're trying to do is they're tired of paying these exorbitant fees for private tuition, and when the public school system is right here, they're building brand new buildings in which they want to bring their kids back to. But Eugene, over there in Oberlin, they're doing the same thing, kicking kids out. Kicking kids out, sending them that they're feeding that prison pipeline theory. Fast, quick, in a hurry, man. It's already. But the other part that I picked up on too, Eugene, and that we're going to dive into is there are so many kids that have issues because of their mental health and what have you. And I said it's just no coincidence that everybody in the room, kids or grandkids, have those type of issues. So we're going to dig deeper because I believe in order for that to happen, there must be some contamination somewhere. There must be something happening that the parents, the mothers, through their pregnancy, develop something that made sure the kids would not come out right. And President, that's a whole other thing because we hadn't looked at the data yet, but it just seemed to be some just abnormally high developmental disabilities up that way. And that we got to take a deeper look at it. And then not only that, some of the education problems that parents have already sued and won. Right. That's the crazy
right.
Is that parents, it ain't like they ain't doing their job. Right. Like they sued people and won. But the reality, but it is that what I explained earlier about where it's located, 28 miles outside of Lafayette. Outside of Lake Charles, on the west side of Lafayette, on the north side of Frog City, right? And they're in this media dead zone, so you don't even know that these folks fought in the woods, basically, in southwest Louisiana, and actually won some situations with the local school system there. Like President McClellan, when I heard that, I was like, man, they doing like they need to come help us. But they're not getting the attention on some of these fights that they deserve, and they can be largely ignored. So what we do in situations like this is we go shine a light from outside. And then they're gonna tell us, y'all outsiders, why you see that's the crazy
being
part.
Messy. They say you're messy. You
You bringing stuff in.
Right. Outside influence, Gene.
Yeah, you know, I always tell them the same thing, President Cunningham, when they ask me, well, why are you here? I said, because I had gas. You know, I got to drive up there and deal with that KKK stuff, and then have somebody call me on a Sunday morning and cuss me out. Like 5 times in a row, call me 5, 6 times in a row. But I'm like, what is wrong with her? Then I got to drive up there and ask why I'm here. Like, because I got gas. I ain't got no more patience left for you. I had to give all of that patience to my sister. So she got everything I got left. So you going to get it when I get in front of you, right?
Right.
So, well, President Glenn, they've already, you know, done some things up there, but it's just a scratch, and it's so much more as we begin to talk to parents and stuff like that in Oberlin, Louisiana, and then they know we're telling the truth. They're gonna call somebody and say, "Hey, why don't y'all go online and say they lied?"
Right.
But that is what it is. Call the parents up there, and we'll.
Eugene, you know, you're right, man. I found it interesting, Eugene, that you know that the same issues that they're experiencing in Oberlin, you know, as we travel the state, they're experiencing the same thing all over. It's just like these idiots, Eugene. They have a playbook that they've copied, and they send it to these idiots all over the place, all over the state, and so they're displaying the same playbook all over the state. And so we know how to adopt a winning playbook to combat the education system for kicking our kids out.
Yeah.
You know, the criminal justice system for sending our kids through these prisons for life and breaking up our families. And so we have to continue to double down, Gene, go there. You know, I think Oberlin has the making of something good because you and I met a council person that was recently elected to that area. We're just going to give them a little help and show them what we think will work for them wherever they're at. And I can assure you, Gene, within the next 6 months, when we talk about an update in Oberlin, that we'll be happy to report. But, you know, just as we were there in Oberlin, you know, you and I talked on the way going to Oberlin about a meet because, you know, someone posted it online or in the paper that the mayor was committing fraud, election fraud.
Yeah.
The council members were committing election fraud. And the Louisiana NAACP was committing election fraud because we had a big spotlight and we shine that spotlight in those dark places. And they meet. Y'all need to know AMEET was home to the governor John Bell Evans. And so we want to get to the governor that we're going to help him clean up his town.
Yeah.
His town is dirty and we got the bleach. So we're going to clean it up for you. And we hadn't finished because I was talking to members out there in Tangible Hope.
Yeah.
Eugene, they're fired up and they're ready to work. They call me, they say they're fired up and they're ready to work and they want to clean up whole Tangible Hope. So I told them, let's get to work. Let's get to work.
Yeah, and that's a whole other situation. We talk about updates down there in AMEET, Louisiana, and the railroad effort that's going on down there. Then you know, just outside of that, this is just another thing, right? You know, the editorial came out that we were participating in electioneering in AMEET, Louisiana.
Gene, that's a word for you,
yeah,
electioneering.
Electioneering. I had to Google it, practice it, do them little exercises before I came on air. Just make sure I ain't miss none of them syllables, right?
Electioneering.
You know, they'll talk about your fast and
right.
and all kind of stuff, right? So, you know, but they accuse us of electioneering down there at AMEET. So, you know, rather than saying, hey, let me look at what happened to this black man, the NAACP had to come down here and do something illegal. And they telling folks this. They actually put it in a little paper down there, right? Which is ridiculous. But that's part of it, right? And in all of these situations, again, like in AMEET, and somewhere in Oberlin, because they talked about it a little bit, right? And then we saw the same thing going on in White Castle right now. So
yeah.
Something we need to take a look at.
Yeah.
Right?
We definitely talk about that.
Been busy. You know, when African Americans start moving to vote,
yeah, people
have problems, right?
Yeah.
With different things. If we look at what's happening over there in Plaquemine with young Raheem, when folks start getting people that don't normally vote to go vote, they go to jail. That's right. That's just what happens. That's just what happened in 2021. You know, back in the day, you know, they just shot Megan walking into his house, but you know that was different back then. They don't have to shoot you now; they can just assassinate your character publicly. which is the same as death. It's on the wrong side of it, right? But it seems like a growing trend here in Louisiana.
It is, Gene. I like to let everybody know that this segment is brought to you by the J.G. Callahan Real Estate Group, 4242 Government Street, Suite 116. Joy Grimsby Callahan, your broker. Y'all go ahead and take care of my cousin, Kinfolk. She's so close to Kinfolk Callahan, McClanahan and Callahan. So y'all go ahead and get your real estate through the J.G. Callahan Real Estate Group. But Jane, you're right, man. I'm telling you, man, it's just the playbook is going. I got a call from our unit up in Washington Parish up there in the Bogalusa about something's going on in Washington Parish. Franklinton is right outside of Bogalusa. They have a black mayor for the first time in history, so I'm not mistaken. And the council members still majority white, but they're trying to strip the mayor of all of his powers. Yeah. You know, where they do that at? Louisiana. You know, they're doing that same thing in another little town right over by Abbeville. I can't think of the name, where they have a black mayor, and the council has literally stripped her of all of her power. She has no power, nothing but to go to the office, cut the light on and leave. That's literally, these cats get this dumb playbook, and I don't know. But Eugene, I'm so glad that we have a lot of brilliant, minded persons, part of the NAACP, who don't mind fighting. I like to say that, tell people that we know how to organize, mobilize, agitate, and litigate. We have, if our organize and mobilize and agitate don't work, we're the best lawyers this side of heaven. So if they hadn't checked our record out lately, when we sue, we win. And so I would think we have probably about 30 or so brilliant-minded persons, lawyers, legal backgrounds that will stand ready to file suit and challenge you in court. So all of you low-down persons, you low-down council members that don't want to see black leadership, don't want to be able to serve up under a black mayor. We served up under white mayors that have treated us like we were nothing. But when we get into those same positions, we're going to treat everybody right. We ain't going to just say, well, white man, because you did us low down, we're going to treat you low down. We're not that type of people. We're love and compassion people. So you can rest assured, you're going to get some food, but we're going to make sure that food is spread around equitably, because you've been eating for 40 years. Now it's time for you to eat, because you're so fat, it's time for you to lose a little weight. Eugene, they probably self-conscious too. It's time for you to eat less, because you got enough fat on you. And it's time for those of us that have not eaten at all, time for us to get a piece of that bread. And so we're going to continue to fight, Eugene. I'm excited about this, man. I can see the playbook. I've spoken with enough leaders throughout the state, man, that they're ready. We'll start implementing these things, man, so we bring about a change in Louisiana. I remember years ago, it was no longer Louisiana. They changed the name to Louisiana. I want nobody to talk and laugh about Louisiana. I want Louisiana to be first in leading this charge and bring about an end to systemic racism and systemic institutionalism, to bring about evenness in this great city. And it ain't great yet, but we're going to make it great.
Yeah, like, and working our way out of Oberlin and going down towards Lafayette, Louisiana, right? Get down towards Lafayette. Lafayette has
Lafayette, man. Lafayette, geez. Lafayette was so bad, man.
Man, if y'all listening to Lafayette, I don't care what y'all got going on, what petty beefs y'all got, like who don't like who to slept with whose boyfriend and girlfriend. I don't know what y'all got going on down there. Don't care. But y'all need to come together, fight outside if you have to, and then go inside and meet and get together and make this thing work. Because that's like the stuff that's happening in Lafayette right now around race is just abnormal.
Oh man.
And I think we saw a lot of this in this country with Donald Trump. When you have a leader that kind of supports some of that stuff, it's kind of bad that Mayor Guillory has taken some stances that I think has contributed to this that kind of culture down there. But they got some stuff happening down there. But his latest thing was with Dr. Thariva West, who is a OB for over 30 years. In her 60s, right? A moving company came out to move her furniture, and they quoted her around $300. After it took them 11 hours to do this job for a job they quoted at 3 hours, about $300, I think. It took them 11 hours to do it, and the final total was something around $1,200. So almost $1,000 difference from what they quoted. I was educated because I found that a lot of people felt ripped off by a few different moving companies.
Wow.
That did something very similar. But she didn't want to pay them, right? She said, hey, that's entirely too much. I've had this furniture moved countless times. It's never taken this long to do it. I think this is an absorbent amount. And then when you really get down to the crux of the story, this is a wild part. Like the apartment complex where they were moving the furniture was like next door, like to the current apartment complex, like next door. Like,
come on, man.
Nah, the woman that was doing the interview up there at KLFY, I believe.
Yeah.
She basically like tilted her camera and said, hey, this is where they moved the furniture from. They started here, and then she tilted her camera and said, moved it there. Like it was like literally next door. But I can't say that they building structure ain't work like that or whatever. That ain't. I've never moved furniture, and I don't know what it costs to move that. But just that sounded a little suspect to me, President McClanahan. But we ain't even gonna talk about that. They called the police out there, and the police came out there, right? And the police basically said, unless you pay them, I'm gonna arrest you. And now this is a clear civil issue. I ain't got no law degree, but you do, President McClanahan. But this is a clear civil issue in my eyesight. And they literally put hands on this woman that was about to cuff her for not paying this company. But if that wasn't enough for y'all to come together in Lafayette, and again, I don't care what y'all mad about, whether who boyfriend or girlfriend possibly got slept with, whatever happened, right? Just get outside in the back of the building, wherever y'all meet, and fight. And just go back inside. Y'all got some important work to do up there. If that wasn't enough for Dr. West, like the apartment complex next door, police call, they threatened her, put their hands on her, said, you got to pay him or we're going to take you to jail. She eventually ended up paying him right there because she didn't want to go to jail. It's a hard video to watch. If you go on my personal page, Eugene Weatherspoon Collins, you'll see the full video there. It's disgusting to watch. It's disgusting to watch. And then, I ain't even got to the juicy part yet, but the police chief defended this and said, hey, I saw no calls after she filed a formal complaint. We always ask folks when they call, like, hey, have you filed a formal complaint? This lady did. And this is that part. If this ain't enough, Lafayette, this should definitely let all your advocates and activists and organizations know how crucial it is that y'all come together and do this work in one vein and really make some noise. If that wasn't enough, the owner of the moving company was a council person in the city over. And the way Lafayette works, there's a lot of little small cities, a little different, a lot like ours, but there's a lot of little small cities around this big metropolis, right? So you have this small city, not enough people to be at the level of Baton Rouge, but it's a lot like Baton Rouge the way it's constructed, right? So there's a lot of small cities. So he's a council person in a city over, and we have not confirmed this part yet, but we think his wife might be a police officer within the Lafayette Police Department.
Wow.
So Lafayette, y'all should be mad. Y'all should be heated. Y'all should be Googling right now to confirm that fact so you can plan your next action. Like, that's too much. That's too much. Just know that Dr. West, this is a 60-some-year-old cardiologist, OB doc.
Yeah.
A lady doc, right? Like Mr. Temple always said, a lady doc, right? There was no need to take it to that level, and they did.
Gene, I've experienced this, and so what normally happens, I have a company, have a business, and we don't quote your price until we go out and look at the job, right? We look at the job, and we give you an estimate of the price of the cost, and so if I fail to go out and look at the job, I take that job at my loss. That means I'm lost. She didn't lose. I have a duty as the owner of the company or as an employee of the company to go out and look at the job before I quote her price. Because once I quote her price, I'm locked into it. I'm locked in. You can't say, we'll quote your price, but if it goes over, then you have to pay this. All that have to be in writing, though. It has to be in writing because you have to know what I'm dealing with, I have to know what you're dealing with. It has to be a meeting of the minds. If there's no meeting of the minds, there's not a valid contract. If she signed anything, the contract that says, I'll provide these services the company said, we'll provide the service that you need for this amount of money, and she agreed to that, that's a valid contract. Now, if they undersold their company, they need to take the loss, cough the money out of their own pocket, or keep going. They'll know better next time. You can't get a learning curve off of the innocent lady because clearly she was wrong. But but to speak to those low down cops, whether they were married to the owner of the company or not, whatever the case may be, I think they were wrong. This not bad policing. This is dumb cops. A lot of police will tell you that they get some training in school. I'm quite sure he didn't get the training that deals with civil litigation. Only get in contracts. They only get training when it comes to criminal law, right? So they called a criminal deputy to come look at a civil matter. He was clueless, dumbless. He needs to be fired. He needs to be sued because clearly he intimidated the lady. He used his badge to intimidate her, to get her to pay some money that she did not owe and obligated to. So Lafayette, I want y'all to know we have a good branch. President Shamanati, he's there. Marjorie Broussard is there. We got Jamal Taylor's there. We got Brother Norman there. We got Chris Williams. We got a whole lot of people. If y'all want to fight, we got the team. We ready to fight. Whatever the company's name, whatever the movie company's name, Eugene, we know the company's name. Let's not go to that company out. We can't say boycott, but don't call them. Tell everybody on your Facebook page, don't call them. Tell everybody, no, don't call them. We can't say boycott, though. We can't say boycott, but if you don't give him no bacon, he'll lose money. Did he understand when we mean business?
Yeah. The name of that company is A&L Movers, and just handled poorly. That's a civil matter, and the cops are, I'm almost reluctant to blame the moving company because, come on now, the police just got to know better than this. They got to know that they just can't basically service civil court right there in the field. You got to know that's not right. Because somebody at some point should have said, "Hey, this don't even feel right." That's just a whole nother level of stupidity. And then, he went back in the car because there's a portion of the video on the media story. He went back in the car and actually got in touch with the supervisor. Smart move. Supervisor told him, write her a summons. So he still disobeyed what the supervisor said and went back out there and put his hands on this lady. And the chief said no finding, even though the supervisor gave a different set of instructions. It just got me to thinking, this is the type of cop that makes people say defund the police. Yeah, this is the guy. If you ever wonder why people say it, you should find out who this man is and take a picture of him and put him on a flyer and say he's the reason. Right. You cannot continue to support guys like this.
Eugene, I can tell you right now, some good cops are taking heat for what this dummy did. Some good cops, some persons, man, who take their job seriously, who do their job right, who do their job to the best of their ability, are taking heat throughout this country behind something this dummy, this idiot did right here. So, we need to defund the police. We need to make sure that he goes to jail. We need to find a way to make sure that he goes to jail, that he loses his pension. He don't need to just get fired. He need not work nowhere else because obviously he's a threat to justice, he's a threat to freedom. He doesn't need to have a job, and he needs to have a mark wherever he go. He needs to probably only get a job working in that cemetery in Overland that says whites only, but it should say whites only and dummies only.
If he listening, right? And if he ain't listening, somebody gonna share it with him.
Somebody share it. Tell him I call him a dummy.
Dummy. They need a prison guard. Excuse me, not prison guard. A cemetery guard over there in Oberlin just to protect the cemetery from black bodies being buried there. That sounds like a good job for him. But he might be out there trying to shake down old women. Right. You know what I'm saying? You never know with this cat. That was just horrendous to see. And sometimes folks say, well, you know, it got a lot of play because it was a doctor. And I'm like, come on, that ain't true. Like, all of these situations get play. Like, stop making an issue where it ain't. Like, black folk, we always want to find a reason to divide.
But Eugene, I say, you know, that may be fine, because had the doctor, had he not ran into the doctor, the next person he would have done it to. Now I promise you, because he got the right person with the right opportunity to shine a light on his dumb behind, now he will think twice and 3 or 4 times before he even step to somebody. Like, the matter of fact, he should be wanting to hang up his holster and take his badge and put it in the drawer, because he need not be a police officer anywhere else.
President McGlennon, you bring up a great point, because when I looked at the video, and I'm not a lawyer, right? But, you know, I'm like, what's the difference between this interaction and what he did? And we know it for a fact that this ain't civil court, right? This ain't civil court. Like, what was the difference between what he did and somebody coming out there and strongholding an older woman into paying somebody? It seemed like it almost seemed like she got robbed.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it definitely seemed that way. And then they were supposed to get in court and dispute that. Like, you did it on the scene. Like, and that's the first time I've heard anybody else kind of say that. I've thought that quietly in my head, like, this cop should go to jail.
Yeah.
Like,
clearly he used his uniform and his badge to get a civil matter brought up under criminal aspects. And in lawyer terms, it sounds like it's a Section 1983 action that this person violated her constitutional rights on the color of the law. So we want to make sure that she has the right representation, and that we get to see. Lafayette be doing some dumb stuff. The only way you're gonna get to sit in Lafayette and the mayor and those low down council members, low down police officers do right, you got to start hitting them in the pocket. And so if there are enough lawsuits going on and they just have to kick out a little money, then they'll realize and understand we need to stop being low down and dirty like they've always been.
Yeah. And we got Dez Sankofa, the pioneer, on IG, man. He said he ready to join the NAACP. So that brother gonna get that application, if not tonight, by the first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
We're glad to have Dez want to be a part of this thing. And on the Facebook feed here, we got we already announced that, but we got Miss Travis Paul, freedom of speech is all good until blacks begin to speak, which is pretty powerful, right?
Yeah.
But when we start talking to make it sense, Lord, they change all the algorithms. And we were just talking, like, that was one thing. When we start talking and making sense, like, Lord, like, some folks, you just step out with, hey, it's wrong because we black. Nah.
Right.
That's the reason, but we're going to go through some other things first and show you why, the algorithms and all of that stuff, and all, just start changing, right? And then there was the Donald Trumpism.
Eugene, that's you just point on, as Travis was talking about, freedom of speech is all good until blacks begin to speak. But wait till we start to speak collectively with our vote. Wait till we realize and understand that we can speak with our vote too. That's a part of speaking. That vote, that to go out and vote, that's a part of communicating. And we're communicating to one another that if we do this collectively and consistently, that we can change a whole lot of stuff better than we can if we got to the streets and start yelling, right? Holding up signs. That vote carries more weight. So we want all of you all that didn't vote before, that have not been registered, to go ahead and register and vote. There's an election coming up for the congressional seat, for U.S. congressional seat number 2. That's a seat by Congressman Richmond that we're looking to fill. And the congressional seat for District 5, that's the seat that was vacated by that became vacant as a result of Letlow's death. And so we have 2 congressional seats that if we get out and vote, we can make a difference. But not only that, this every year is election season somewhere. So I think in Lake Charles, their municipal elections are coming up. So you all need to get out and vote. You all need to talk to your neighbors about voting. The NAACP, time in and time out, filed a lawsuit to ensure that you got access to mail-in ballots, that you have greater and longer early voting times, the stayed up earlier, lasted longer, and we when you go vote during the process, that you'll be able to do it a lot safer because COVID is still out there. So you all prepare to vote not only today in March, but as the days and months come along. Because when we vote, we win.
And that's another great point because we saw some people have success in it, and we got to talk to that success one day with Attorney Michelle Charles. She can speak to it.
Fighters, real fighters, there, Gene. Tracy, real fighters.
I tell you what,
real fighters.
That's one person I want to meet.
Real fighters, man. Real fighters.
Like if she let you go, it's just because she didn't care. That's just what it is. She let you go because she did not care. Like you were not important to her. Because you were. You got already.
Lamb to lamb, man. Lamb to lamb.
Totally. But talk to Charles about the success they had down in a meet.
Yeah.
Moving black votes and flipping seats. And some places are doing that, and places that haven't been done it. And we know we hadn't talked about it yet, but we got to start taking a look at it. But we know reapportionment is coming up. The school boards going to start their process.
Right.
Like we know for a fact that here in Baton Rouge, as we work our way to Baton Rouge, we know for a fact that Baton Rouge is significantly more African American than it was, last time this was done. So there's if we come out of that with 5 white seats and 4 black ones, something ain't right. Like
something ain't right, James.
Something ain't right. Like I ain't got no crystal ball. I don't know the future. And again, I said this earlier. I don't have no law degree and nothing like that. Not yet.
That's not yet.
Not yet.
But all it takes really just right now is common sense, and you have a lot of that.
Yeah, a lot of that. So I can just say without a slither of a doubt, like the old folks used to say, if we come out of this with 5 white seats and 4 black seats, and 4 black seats, 5 white seats and 4 black seats, somebody's getting sued.
Something wrong.
Somebody's getting sued. Like you just gotta know, and they gotta understand, you gonna lose 1 seat or you gonna be in court for a long time.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that shakeup should come that way. And we said white seats, because that's different than maybe a progressive white Democrat seat.
Right.
That's a little different, right? Even a liberal Republican, I'll take one. You know what I'm saying? If we come out of this looking the same way we did when we walked in,
something wrong.
Somebody getting sued. In order for it to be us, we got to beat others to the punch.
That's right.
Like this is gonna be something that people are on top of.
Right.
So you ain't got to guess. You ain't got to wonder. You should just know you get this right, and you gonna get sued. And you can't drag no other fights out and cover this up. Like people gonna see this. Like this is what it is. Like it can't come out with the same makeup. Yeah. Same thing with the city council. You see the numbers. You cannot come out with the same makeup, and if you do, somebody getting sued. Again, don't say the NAACP said they're gonna sue us. I said we're gonna have to be right. Dr. J gonna have to be here typing that night because I know there's gonna be a host of groups around this country that's just looking at how that turns out. So that's coming up. If you've never been politically engaged, this is your time to do so. So all these issues you always scream about and fuss about, the makeup of these bodies sometimes contribute to that. And there's a real opportunity to change some of this stuff coming up. I don't know what's your thoughts on that, President McClanahan.
Well, Eugene, every 10 years, the census is done because at the end of the census, the census takers gives to Congress the numbers, and the numbers spell out reapportionment. But reapportionment means dollars, So anytime we can reconfigure some lines that bring necessary resources to a person that normally would not get them, we definitely want to do that. So reapportionment is here. We need to be at the table drawing these lines because the devil is going to draw the lines that's going to fit him, benefit him. So we have to be at the table. And please, those of you that are at the table look like us, don't be afraid to say, no, that's not how the line should be drawn. If you need us to be at the table, let us know because we don't have a problem getting at the table and some of these line drawings. I want you to know that too. But I also like to know that this segment is brought to you by the J.G. Callahan Real Estate Group, 4242 Government Street, Suite 116. Joy Grisby Callahan is your real estate broker. Her number is 225-258-3325. That is 225-258-3325. Go get your real estate from the J.G. Callahan Group. And that goes to show you, Gene, even in getting your property and getting some, you want to know what lines are drawn. You want to know what's beneficial to me. How can I live in this district and that district? Because lines are moved, just like we were up there in Oberlin. The lady said, I've been living right here for 20 years. And over the last 2 censuses, the magic had changed from 2 to 5, whatever that means in terms of districts. But she had not moved. The lines have moved, but she has stayed there. And so talk to your council members, talk to your legislatures, talk to whoever you need to about making sure that these lines are drawn right. We want better school board lines drawn, because in the school system that's 80-some% African-American students, clearly we should have more than just 3 or 4 school board seats.
Yeah. And President McClellan, you know, some of the smaller parishes, as Major Tracy Riley is in the feed here today. Major Tracy, another one of those fighters that she's saying, and make a great point. Like they're heading up the Plaquemines Parish this week to look at just this issue, as well as Cattle Parish, right? So, like, when you look at all of those things, and y'all, this ain't nothing you're gonna keep under the radar. This is if the groups don't do it locally, like nationally, as you get on the advocacy calls and stuff around this country, that's all they're talking about. So this is gonna come with a whole ton of outside influence to make this stuff more equitable.
Right. Oh yeah.
So I hope folks get it right. I do not want to look through social media and see all of that rhetoric every day. I hope they get it right the first time.
Yeah.
But you know, I'll be honest with you, I really don't have any confidence they will. But I hope so. Because the reality is, somebody, you know, when you start talking about doing it right and making sure that the districts aren't so gerrymandered.
That's right.
Somebody's gonna lose a seat.
Yeah. And Eugene, I've seen it so time and time in. Person is so entrenched in these seats, they'll do anything. They'll sell their mama down the road to keep their seat, man, because their seat to them represents power, and that in some instances represent power and money. Because you know, persons nowadays aren't just public servants like they used to be. We need to get back that. So once we erase the adage that money is attached to the seat and power, and that person that actually are elected as servants. Once we get back to the servant aspect of it, Gene, I think we're well on our way, and we can take that till Jesus come back.
Yeah, and also, President McClellan, this is going to be the first time when we see the effects of how well we really did on the census. So you didn't fill out the census, some it's going to be your fault.
Yeah.
Just is what it is. And then, you know, as we work our way around Baton Rouge, you know, President McClellan, these billboards to police union continues to put up at this point, right? It can't be that they think this is good for Baton Rouge. So at this point, you just got to think that they've let whatever sense of civility was left within that organization go. It just is what it is. Like, you putting these things up, like folks are telling you, like, hey, we really don't want this, right? And this ain't just black folks now. These folks are saying, hey, man, won't y'all take this down? Like y'all could have put some stuff on social media. You could have even done a YouTube channel. But like billboards, the first thing that people see when they come into town is like how dangerous the city is, right? And a very public argument between police. You know, like you can't think that this is good for people to see. Like, you're letting your hatred get in the way of a lot of different things. But you know, and then I don't know if they know that they starting to spur this whole residency argument again, because people are starting to talk about the fact y'all can put these billboards up because y'all don't live here. So y'all don't care what happened in Baton Rouge, right? So people starting to have that conversation again, and so you're just doing a whole lot of just rigmarole that don't make sense to even to do in the moment at a time when people are like nationally talking about defunding the police, you have largely stayed away from people doing that locally or taking those kind of stances here locally. You have largely stayed away from that. And what do? Say, hey, let's just draw more attention to us right now. Let's do this. Let's really show how people how dysfunctional we are. Then one of the billboards they put up, the spelling wasn't even correct.
Come on, man.
They had the advocate.com, not theadvocate.com. So if you went to the website, it was actually like a porno site or something like that. So now you look idiotic. So because when my kid passed and he put that website in, he got to be like, oh man, they can't spell or write the right website out either. Yeah. Like, this is terrible. Stop. You're embarrassing yourselves. Like it's just terrible. Like people talking about y'all bad out there in the streets.
That's another thing, Gene. You alluded to earlier, man. Good cops gone bad. It only takes a few cops to make the whole department look bad. And this union, we need to. I'm for unions, man, but some unions have to be reorganized. Clearly, this police union here in Baton Rouge, and probably like a whole lot of other unions throughout the state, that kind of serve no legitimate purpose other than to be divisive. To not bring good police into the community, to not recruit good law enforcement, to hamper recruiting good police persons to come and work in the department here in Baton Rouge. By doing that, to make the mayor look bad, to make the city council look bad, make all of us that live here look bad. And we ain't gonna stand for it, Gene. We're gonna fight back. I want you all to know, outside of you with your badge on, with your gun, you're really low down, you're an idiot. And so we're gonna show you what we're gonna do with idiots who walk around our city doing idiotic stuff. We're gonna send you packing, buddy. Your days are numbered. You mark my word, your day is numbered. So go ahead and have your fun now, because in a minute, I understand this proverb that says, he who laughs loudest. He who laughs last, laughs loudest. We're going to have the last laugh.
Yeah. And President Clanahan, I did something this morning I don't ever do, right? Never, ever do I do this, but I was a little bored this morning and entertained by somebody calling me on Sunday morning, calling me fat.
5 times because you're fat, Gene.
5 times. Yeah. Man, and I'm thinking to myself, I ain't even that fat,
But I'm a cute fat.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm pudgy, but like fat, come on. But early this morning, but I did something I never do. I went to the comment sections of some of these local media outlets, right? Yeah. And I responded to a couple of things, but it's such a confusion on like what stuff is like, and the general public is being fooled. Like, people always want to talk about the liberal leaders and what they did. Now, read comments, right? Like, well, it's liberalism. I'm like, well, no, this law was actually put in place by a very conservative person. Like Google it. I don't know if these liberal and conservative arguments sometimes that people will be realizing that we both get failed.
Yeah, right.
Like in the crux of it, like, right, your leaders have been pretty effective, and some of ours have been pretty ineffective too. So and when you put that ineffectiveness together, you get Louisiana. Lasted everything.
You put it in there, man.
It's just what it is. I'm like, we can't even say it's they fault or they fault no more. Like, we suck. Like, it's got to be all y'all, right? It's got to be
all of them, Jane. All of them, because we're stuck in the middle, and those of us who just trying to do right, man, we actually lose out on it. So that's why we got to fight, G. That's why we can't take a break with the Super Bowl. That's why we must be here, talking about what we're talking about, man. And even person would start lying about the COVID, the vaccine, and all that, man. Eugene, COVID is real. There are a lot of persons that we all know that have succumbed to the COVID vaccine. That died or was up to COVID-19, right? So it's real, man. So when they tell you wear your mask, when they tell you to wash your hands, sanitize, keep your distance, man, they really mean that, because it's killing persons. And not only now it's killing everybody at a normal rate. And now there's a vaccine, and now they don't want the vaccine to be gotten by those to be accessed, by those persons in our communities, in our towns. And so we have to advocate, even during a pandemic, how to get help from the pandemic, how to get the vaccination that's going to fight the pandemic to our respective towns and villages, man, so that we can live. They don't want that to even happen, Gene, but I want them to know, man, we have a plan. Because with God's help, we're going to win. And so God has already put persons in our place. I got a call a few minutes ago that some doctors, man, want to help spread this vaccine, man. So help us on the way. You all know and understand that the NAACP since 1909 been fighting out here, and we ain't no ways tired. We ain't gonna watch the Super Bowl until we finish the show, till we got some other stuff going on. Those of you that are still doing dark stuff, understand we got a light for you. We're gonna shine it in your eyes. Are we shining in your eyes?
Yeah, and that's just what it is.
We're gonna shine it somewhere else. No justice,
no peace.
No peace.
And President Clinton, I was asked about the vaccination earlier. We did an interview with BR Proud, and we were talking about the vaccine. And I told I took the vaccine.
Yeah, me too. I've had it.
Yeah, and I encourage folks to educate themselves and do what's best for them. Because I know it's different health situations where it may not be possible, but from what I read, it sounded as safe as the flu shot. I take that every year. Yeah, just what it was.
Eugene, you're right, man. You have to do what's best for you. But the alternative of not taking the shot and catching the COVID. There are a lot of people that have bounced back from it, but there are a lot of people that have not bounced, that have died. I'm going to use that word died, so that should wake you up. A lot of persons that have died, man, I got a lot of good friends and a lot of friends and families that I know, man, that have died, got COVID, man, and thought they were going to bounce back, but didn't. So still kill it. So, your alternative, if you don't want to do it for you, do it for the ones that you love and the ones that love you. Consider the shot. Some people say, I'm waiting to see what happens to y'all that have taken the shot in the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months. If you keep waiting around, I'm going to still be around, and I'll pick up and I'll read you in the obituary section. So don't wait for to see what happens to me. At least I have the shot, I have a fighting chance, because I'm going to still wear my mask. I'm going to still social distance. I'm going to still sanitize my hands and all that. And so when I go home, even my sergeant wife, she can say all the time, put your clothes off at the door, go in your room, sanitize, throw the bleach up or whatever's going to kill you, then go take a bath, and then come back and say, hey, honey. So that's still around. But we've done the things necessary to eliminate being able to go home and spread this deadly disease to my wife, my son, my daughter, and to my mother and everybody that I love.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And that's why I took it. And I mentioned that in that interview. I didn't take it for Eugene Collins. I took it for Malia Collins because I wouldn't want to be the reason she got COVID, right? And outside of that, President Clinton, and I'm gonna speak to the public health system on this too. Let's just say there is a stigma when it comes to African Americans and the public health system. There's some distrust there,
right.
A great deal of distrust,
right.
And some of it is deeply rooted in the Tuskegee Project, right? And it seems like when these things come up, that folks always want us to go out and convince people why they should trust you for the jacked up stuff that your system did. Mm-hmm. And that ain't our job. I can tell you, I took the vaccine. I can tell you that I got a slight headache the next day. Well, it was migraine the next day. It was gone the day after that. A little bit of a sore arm, very minimal things, right? Yeah. And I was good and all that good stuff. But to the public health folks, it is not our job to go out here and tell people to trust you. Not gonna do that because, I'm waiting to see if I'm gonna turn into a Pokemon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, somebody say you're close because you say you're a fat Pokemon.
A fat Pokemon. I probably shouldn't give her no ammo, right? But that's not our responsibility. I would love to see public health stand up one day. And don't say you put out a report. You know how stuff moves. Stand up there with all the cameras, all the social media stuff like that, and say, we made some mistakes in the past, but this is why you can trust us now. Yeah. But you got to admit some guilt in that, and you got to tell folk what happened. You got to tell folk how long you knew about it. If you did that, folks might trust you. But up until then, you're going to have some of these issues.
Right. And Jen, you're so right, man. So, they can't expect us just to lay down and follow their every move. That's just not happening. I do know that I'm on the governor's task force And so we have some great black doctors and white doctors that tell the truth, that believe in their oath that they've taken to the medical profession, to do all they could to ensure that everyone gets a good chance at a healthy life and a better life. And so we follow their lead. Sometimes when my own thinking sells me short, but when I put my faith and trust in the Lord and those that He entrusted to help us out here, man, I'll feel a whole lot better. So just continue to listen for those that have reputable news like the NAACP and others, man, and we'll give you the long and the short of, so you can make an intelligent decision, Gene. And so that's what we have there, Gene.
Yeah, just make a good decision. And just know that you're not the only one that feel the way you feel, but might be the best thing right now, because I don't see it going nowhere. You look at these fools still out there in the middle of
Partying, man,
having a good time. Like Bernie Mac used to say, showing all their public ass. So I don't see nobody really just stopping this spread, right? It's gotta be scientific at this point to stop it. Folks tired of being inside. They stir crazy, they ready to get back out, ready to get back to it. That I don't know if you're gonna do a whole lot to change that. I just think it's dumb to go outside without a mask at this point. You gotta know that's dumb.
Gotta know it's dumb.
Just dumb.
And Gene, the other part of this, NAACP, we get masks shipped to us all the time to give out. So we got masks. If you need a mask, contact us. I say this all the time because we want to give it out. We want to give all the masks we have out. We get shipments of masks all the time to give out, and we're giving them out. So if you don't have a mask, we have those. They're now saying you have to wear a double mask now, Gene. And so if you have a mask, if you have two masks, make sure you put two of them on. Have a good solid mask, one that will not let anything out nor anything in.
No. Just put your mask on. Mask up. And Mardi Gras, we know it's coming up down there, and as we work our way to New Orleans, like keep your buddy home. Yeah. It ain't that real. Like this gonna be back next year, and it's New Orleans. There's always gonna be liquor. And always good music. You ain't got to worry about good music, and the food good all the time down there. You can chill out this year for a couple of days. We know y'all get together in the backyard anyway. But you ain't got to necessarily just go on bourbon and have large crowds.
Always good food.
This is come on, y'all. Just stay inside this shit. They gonna kill you. I figured it out, President McClary. These people just don't like what's at home at all.
No, man.
They just don't want to be with themselves at all. Just keep your butt at home. And I know President McClary, as we continue this work here on this good Super Bowl Sunday, and I will tell you, it was never a second thought if we were going to do this radio show on Super Bowl Sunday night. Even if it was just us here, I'm a Cowboys fan, so season been over for me. Yeah. And President McClanahan is a Saints fan, so he's still very bitter. So we decided
bitter that the referees took the game from us. That's what I'm saying. That's my story. I'm sticking with it.
Every year the referees take the game from us.
Every year I'm sticking with it.
Y'all never blame that man and let that Hail Mary go. Y'all never blame referees.
We blame the referees, and I'm sticking with it.
All right, President McClanahan, any closing thoughts before we get out of here?
Well, Gene, one more time, we have a friend, we have sponsorships. So if you want to sponsor the NAACP show, please call us at 225-343-1075 or contact me or Eugene directly on our Facebook page. You can call me directly. My number is whatever that is, 225-287-4673. That's a public number. And we'd like to thank George Grisby Callahan of the J.G. Callahan Real Estate Group for sponsoring us. Contact Joy G. Callahan at 225-258-3325. And we thank you all.
Y'all hit Joy up for all your real estate needs. She gonna take care of y'all out there in radio land and in social media land and all that good stuff. So we gonna talk to y'all next week here. You've been here with the NAACP presidents as we tune out here on WTQT, one of the baddest gospel stations in Baton Rouge, the baddest gospel station in Baton Rouge. Up here right now is Anthony Nelson, the 20%, the Overcomers Broken, here on WTQT 106.1.
Good job. That was a good show. That means, Gene, that time went fast, man. But that was
All
a good
right,
show.
y'all. And we're back.